Yo, do you guys want to call? Yo, is Snoobae still in the chat? I think people want me to call Snoobae. Oh, there he is, dude. I got the bay. I got the Snoobae here. He said, wait, this was like an hour ago, dude. Snoobae said an hour ago, hey, I heard you wanted to chat. I didn't. Okay. But now that you're here, we might as well. Huh? And then he called me. Yo, Snoobae, bro. Listen. Yo, what's up, dude?
Yo.
How you doing, man? Yo. Can you hear me? No, he doesn't got it. He doesn't got it. I don't think he's got it, dude. He definitely doesn't got it.
Maybe not.
Something about your quality changed, though. You did toggle something. Okay, let's see. Wait, do you have a Go XLR? If you have a Go XLR, maybe your system thing is muted. Right? Maybe that sound channel's maybe you're watching some Captain Lance, you're having a good time, you were jerking it.
Okay, I got it.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. All right,
what did I just say?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, just checking. I thought you were gonna try to sneak one and watch the stream and respond to the stream in a delay.
I thought about that for a split second,
yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, you want some of this.
Wait, what are you doing? I see you farming drama like a madman over here.
I wouldn't even call it drama. It's pretty low tier. I'm just like talking to people. I'm just asking questions, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm farming a little bit of drama myself.
What are you doing? What do you mean by that?
Some WASD.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually going to say, I watched that video last night. I was like in bed. I queued this up. This one, right? Look at this. You see this red bar?
Yeah.
You see this red bar?
Yeah.
You like that? You probably got 2 cents of revenue from
I'm
little red bar.
Yeah. I didn't know you could watch a video longer than 10 minutes.
I usually don't. Well, I don't watch your videos. Okay, let's just say that.
Well, it's probably easier if you're not pausing constantly and like live streaming it and everything.
I mean, I could show you an actually good content creator of PoE. His name's Sir Gog. Red bars on every single video. Okay, you're lucky that I played this in the queue and I went to bed and it auto played all the way through. That's why it looks like it's fully watched. But what's your deal with it? You don't like the WASD, huh? You're a WASD hater.
No. I just realized that there's everybody's just talking about it, hyping it up like crazy, and there's virtually nothing negative said about it. And I just think a ton of players are going to get blindsided by the experience. They're going to think they've lost their minds, and they should be.
Well, that's why there's an option, right? You can try it. You can switch back right away.
Right, and then, but the conversation evolves there. It's like, well, there's an option now. So what happens in the future? They're already designing the game for to favor one combat type than the other, right? So
okay, so you're implying that like future decisions on mechanics and like gameplay stuff might be influenced by controller support or like heavily favoring how a controller enters the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's already evidence of it right now, and I'm so like on a scale of 10, my concern for this is maybe like a 2 or something. I made the video because I was just genuinely concerned that Reddit is going to absolutely lose its mind like 3 or 4 days into the league when everybody starts going. I think there's just going to be this explosive debate about WASD versus click to move once people try them. And I think it's going to be like tribalistic and everything. I'm already seeing it. Just look at the comments in my video. I got more comments on this video than anything I've ever seen. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's coming at it from so many different angles. It's actually insane.
Is it overall like they're positive with WASD, or are they?
No, this is definitely one of the more negative videos that have come out. But I'm comparing it to typical informative content that's always like 95% positive or whatever. But this is like a 60% like to dislike ratio, which is wild for me. But there's tons of people that loved it. There's tons of people that hated it. Tons of people that thought I was like, I don't know, just farming rage baiting or something, which isn't really true. I did make it a provocative title and, thumbnail on purpose because I definitely wanted people to see it, but it's just crazy.
My take on the WASD is as long as your left click, you can bind your left click to always move your character to that left click and have WASD, it should be fine, right? Like for example, when I need to, if I want to shoot, for example, like this clip that you're showing right here. Okay, this is hard to explain. But basically, like, oh my god, dude, let's get to the gameplay here. Okay, so oh, where is she? Okay, so you see how like you have to shoot southeast to hit this monkey?
Yeah.
But I might want to move northwest, right? So basically, after I'm done killing this monkey, right? Or let's say I'm done moving northwest, can I left click somewhere on the screen, let's say in the bottom right, and then my character will start moving that way. And at any point I can let go of left click, for example, or not left click again, and then press WASD, and WASD still works. Right? That like I don't imagine that you can't bind left click to move. Right? Like, can you really not bind left click to move even if WASD is active?
You couldn't when I tested the beta.
Okay, so anytime you left click, you're using some ability?
The only time you moved in the beta with WASD active, this was Tokyo Game Show, a little while ago, was in town. And it was actually ultra annoying because you had to be a certain like X number of meters away from an NPC. If you click them, it allowed you to move. But if you try to click an NPC from like more than 10 meters away, you wouldn't. You would have to WASD your ass over there. And then like if you get right next to them and you click, it might click past them, or it would like cross, I don't know, it would like interfere with the interface. Actually, the worst experience I had with WASD was in town because of all the craziness. So hopefully they figured that out.
So you're saying like, so left click just doesn't move at all when you have WASD enabled?
Yeah, at least as it was. I don't think we could bind anything to it except I think we could bind a skill to it.
Yeah, I see. Like then I would actually agree with you. Then in that case, if that's actually the case on launch and you can't have WASD active and left click to move, that would be a bad thing, right? Because I don't always want to hold down WASD when I'm moving. Like sometimes I just want to click, and then when I need to shoot and use WASD, that's like the only benefit I see on WASD instead of just using a controller is that like I can click and be very exact and move away and shoot at the boss, right? Like slowly move out of like AoEs and stuff. But then when I'm done with it, I'm not going to use WASD after the fight's over, right? There's no mobs on the screen. Why would I WASD? So yeah, I would agree with you on that then, right? So they should absolutely make it so that you can bind left click to move and then still use WASD. Like what? I just don't see like is it a coding thing where you can't choose when you want to use WASD? That's so weird, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going off of what I experienced, so I think it's a good idea. And some people were bringing up the whole MMO thing, like that's how it is in World of Warcraft or whatever. You have the combo of WASD and left click to move. So yeah, hopefully it works anyway.
In World of Warcraft you do have full blown WASD, but in WoW you have like auto run and stuff when you're like for example in WoW if you need to just move forward, you'll probably just click up the auto run. And you're not holding down W the whole time, right? Unless you're like some really high tier like end game content. It's not full blown like holding down WASD.
Oh, here's another thing that I didn't even realize before I made this video, and obviously I did a lot of research on it. So some people in my chat were saying click to move might still be able to take advantage of kiting techniques if you like, for example, you're in a ranger and you click way off the end of the screen, corner of the screen, and then while you're moving in that direction, supposedly, you can take your cursor and point at the enemies to fire arrows, but your character doesn't just stop like it does in AoE or in PoE 1. You will actually continue running backwards.
So like, let's say
that's true.
Let's say I click right here.
We're looking at some videos.
Okay, let's say so I click right here, and then I right click here. And so I will shoot an arrow towards the gorilla while still moving into the. Okay, I mean that would feel really weird. That would feel really weird. But I mean, yeah, maybe this. Okay, if your build gets good enough in the end game where you really don't need to worry too much about white mobs and stuff, the WASD, if it is just a toggle, then I probably just toggle WASD for bosses, right? But at the same time, it's like, why? What is the coding or what is the limitation in the tech where you can't have left click move? Right? Surely you can have WASD and left click active because like if you click in the corner, you start moving and you press W, your character just moves upwards. It cancels the click, moves you upwards, right?
Yeah.
How does that? I mean, I guess that's something that maybe someone who has an interview with Jonathan can ask because it seems like such a simple thing.
Yeah. So anyway, for anyone who's not going to bother with the video. Basically, I presented 3 reasons why I think it's just overblown. And one of them is the pathing issues. Again, I only had 20 minutes to mess with it, but for some reason, the Ranger class was preloaded on some like terrain that was like in a cavern or something, mostly just a lot of really tight corridors. It was really annoying to navigate through that, get caught on the edges very easily. It was really annoying in town too. But I would chalk that up to probably me just being bad at it at first. However, there was the issue of buttons. I had like WASD, and then we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they had like QER, and I was like, wait a minute, how many keys do they want me to press? And
yeah.
The third thing was the revelation from Mark Roberts. I can't believe he admitted that in the middle of the Q&A, and it was like 2 hours and 10 minutes into it, so nobody paid attention. But he basically just shared with the world that his development team, while they have been working so hard on WASD, making it this big thing, all the pride into it, everything into it, like you can just imagine, right? They're going to love it. Well, they all tried it and they all went back.
They went back to clicking?
Like, basically everyone. Because apparently at the office, Mark Roberts can just sit down at any one dev's computer and play the game or something. I don't know.
That's what but this is like people who play PoE 1, right? Like if I'm used to PoE 1 controls and I have to change it, I probably will go back even if I could get used to it. And even if it was more effective, I probably wouldn't like it either, right? So you're asking people who have been playing for 10 years on click to move, right? So shouldn't you be only asking new players?
I mean, obviously it's not like a contract to the developer. Hey, if you play PoE here, you must play WASD. Obviously not. But I mean, maybe reading into it a little bit, but these developers, I mean, this was like the talk of the town for the whole past year. They delayed the game for this, for WASD and the mechanics built around that, the strafing and moving while shooting arrows. I have to assume that they were all incredibly biased in favor of using WASD. That development team, it had to be. In what world would they not be trying their hardest to get used to it and commit to that new form? They are the ones making the game.
Yeah, so but you still have like years of like the because like why would you have someone like F Extra Life where they say I switched to controller, for example. I know that's not WASD, but like I switched to this mode and it's like, oh, it felt so good, right? Like I'm sure there would be some people like that. I actually agree with you that it sucks if you can't bind left click, right? Because I mean, but you have to admit that the current system of swiping your mouse everywhere is kind of cringe, right? Like if you play let's say Tornado Shot, you move to the right, you swipe your mouse to the left really fast, right click, then you swipe your mouse back to the right and then click to move away and do this like stutter step back and forth. That's not that great either if you think about it. You're just so used to it.
I understand conceptually what you're saying, yes. I absolutely understand it. Particularly for range classes, WASD sounds pretty nice. For melee, I think most people agree that there's probably not going to be any real distinct advantage to WASD from melee. I think it's actually going to be kind of awkward with the whole like moving and being that close, and you're going to have situations where you actually aiming off by like 5 degrees and you're not even going to hit the target on some of these like melee WASD. I saw that. I literally looked for it in like Jonathan's playthrough at in front of the Sony CEO and stuff. There were a lot of attacks he was doing where you're just like missing the targets barely, and I don't think it's because Jonathan's bad. Obviously, I just think it's probably really hard to navigate getting in the face of mobs with WASD while with a melee class, with the monk in particular.
With when you were playing, like your own experience, even when you were using WASD, when you like right clicked or use a spell, did it at least like go to the cursor pretty well?
No, I think it just stood still. Like if I only pressed right click.
No. I mean like when you're WASDing, moving around, and you cast a spell. Does the spell aim correctly?
Yeah. The aiming is pretty good, but you got to realize when you're on a range class, how should I say, the conal aiming of it is more obvious. It's more obvious that you're aiming in the right place when you're in the middle of strafing. Here's the thing: if you use your cursor and point at something, it's a lot easier to click something if you're standing further away from it. Your frame of reference in your own character, the range of motion is less because you're further away. It's like a wider arc.
Yeah.
So it's easier to constantly aim and hit whatever you're shooting at. If you're in melee, you're constantly going around a circle around. Like if you're kiting it around in a circle or something, it's really hard to keep the aim quite on point.
Yeah, maybe someone has a good point in chat. Maybe it's just for like the heavy ranged class like mercenary and like maybe some other classes where it's like you really do need to like move and do your casts and stuff, right? Maybe it's just for that. For others, other classes probably be business as usual. But then like the shield block, you have to WASD is like insane for shield block. So it's like, yeah, I feel like
I don't think it's necessarily insane. It's not. It's you walk up to an enemy, it's still behind it, or I mean, or rather in front of it. It's in front of you. So
no, but the like the little corrections you can do while holding up your shield, right? Like if they're moving forward, it's like it is a huge advantage. But like no one wants to play like that all the time, right? As far as like logically, okay, do I want to hold down WASD for my 8+ hour play session? No, right? I probably want to click and like as your build gets better, it gets better to click as well, right? Because
here's a point. Like I concede a lot of these points, and I want people to try both of them for themselves. I just don't want people to get like mentally locked in to a play style they've never played, and then think they're taking crazy pills when they intuitively don't enjoy it. When everyone else has literally been touting it as like the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm just here trying to level the playing field a little bit. I don't have some kind of agenda for click to move here. I just don't want to see the community like freak out whenever the WASD thing doesn't work out. For obviously for a lot of people for different reasons, it's not going to work out, and people just need to.
I think you're the only person talking about WASD. I think like before you mentioned that you couldn't left click, I didn't even like think about it. I don't think most people think about this stuff, right? Like they'll just like do what they can. I do think this is all remedied by a left click to move, right? Like you see here in this video that's being shown, the left click is a move. That you just add that to WASD, right? The moment you left click, it overrides the most recent WASD direction. The moment you press WASD, it overrides whatever left click targeting, whatever you were moving to with the left click target. That's like, it's such a simple thing, isn't it? Like that fixes everything.
I just think that if you try to, here's what I would suggest you or anybody else listening, try to find footage of somebody playing that way. See if you can find evidence of somebody doing, left to click to move while doing WASD. There probably would be some way to find evidence for that.
Yeah, because someone said in chat that they did ask them about that and they say no, but I think the way that the question was phrased to Jonathan, he probably didn't understand what you meant. Like, can I use my mouse and all this stuff and WASD at the same time? He probably doesn't think about like a left click is just the move and it overrides the, like, I think this will be an issue when you really want to use WASD for certain bosses, like for the range classes for sure. Because like the moment you can't left click, it's like what the hell? Yeah. You just play how you want. No, it is play how you want, but right now we don't have the ability to play how you would want in the PoE2 setting of like imagine there's like an AoE, right guys? Like here, let me do a little snippet here. Okay. Like let's say the boss AoE is right here. Okay, this is a circle, and you're standing here. If you have WASD on, you can start a cast and just move backwards at the same time while aiming your projectile at like this guy right here. Okay, in the current version of PoE1, you can't do that. You have to run first, then start a stationary cast that would like, you have to click first to move this way, then cast, and it is different. It is a huge advantage to be able to WASD during a longer fight. So the fact that if you have WASD on, you won't be able to take advantage of WASD and like, left click. You have to do full WASD, right? I think it's just hard to conceptualize this because maybe some people don't understand that it's not like an either or thing. Okay, so that's kind of
well. Also, it might be the case that like WASD is more fun or sensible or chill on really slow early and like during the acts. Because I think to myself, if I were playing PoE1 on a ranger with galvanic arrow on the coast, I would think WASD would be superior to click to move in that area. I got like one support gem. I basically don't stop to kill monsters because it slows me down. But if I could keep moving, that would be fine. And I think it would be good in that kind of setting. And I think like if I'm doing insane giga blasting stuff, in what world would I want to do WASD? It doesn't make any sense because I mean essentially at that point I might as well just be a righteous fire with a screen wide AoE and I'm just clicking to move through the map and everything dies. I'm not going to be kiting monsters at a certain point in the game, right? So I think a lot of people are going to, if they don't feel it immediately, they're going to feel it later on. If they reach a certain progression point in the game, they're going to feel
maybe it is something. Maybe it's something we'll get used to. Like I think about other games. I think about like if I play Brotato or like some roguelite, I can actually play WASD gaming for 8 hours straight. It's not like that tiring or anything. I have to get used to it for PoE, but like if I think about other games, I think it's fine. It's just you are losing out and you're on a big advantage without the left click. And so like maybe we'll get used to it. And I mean, they're pretty open to change. So Jonathan has said if people don't like something, right, they're open to feedback. You give that feedback. If everyone complains on Reddit, I mean, we know how that goes, right? They're going to change it like pretty much right away within the week, probably. It just seems like one of those easy fixes, right? Just one little check mark that says you can bind left click to move, right? And still use WASD.
I would love that. I'd love that option.
I think it's not a big deal. I mean, hey, look, dude, 11-minute video though. 11-minute video though, pretty good.
Yeah, some people are still confused. Why am I even talking about this? The most common comment was like, dude, why do you even care? There's an option to use both. And again, a smaller component of it is concerns for the future direction of the game, how they create the game, the combat, the balance, specifically for one mode or the other, is going to essentially, force the hand of people who don't want to evolve to one thing or the other. That's a small component. The bigger component is leveling the player expectations for it. A lot of people just assume they're going to enjoy it, assume because they enjoy it in other games that it's going to be the same. A lot of people are just going to do it because it's been hyped like crazy. And so, of course, all right, well, I don't want those people to just get mentally locked into a mode of gameplay they don't enjoy as well, and then can't mentally dig out of that, right? They won't even switch back.
Nah, they'll fix it, dude. Or if you're like, you can buy one of those things where there's a left analog stick, so maybe you can move it, like, because a controller left analog is good movement, right? You get that on your left hand, and then you left click, you use click gameplay just like in PoE with your right hand. Easy game. Wait, that doesn't work at the moment? Wait, what? And surely that works.
One of the great things about people talking about this seemingly non-issue is, I mean, I for one am discovering that people have all kinds of different peripheral things they're using. They got the controllers, they got the joysticks, they got all this stuff. I didn't even know about this stuff. So the fact that people can see it and read it gives them ideas. They're like, yeah, maybe I would like that. Oh, I remember thinking about that before, but totally forgot. Maybe I'll try joystick, or maybe I will try controller because of all this. I think that could be a nice outcome as well. It's always good, just people to have discussions about these things. And since it's like not being talked about anywhere else, certainly not in terms of like the cons of WASD, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really think about it too much until you brought it up with the left list. And so you should like at Path of Exile then, right? You should at them and just be like, hey, here's my thoughts on it or whatever. You gotta get it out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Get on the good graces. Hey, I heard you didn't get a Valdo box. What happened?
You heard that, huh? Who'd you hear that from?
I heard it from you. I was lurking in your channel. Where's your Valdo box?
Listen, I'm gonna buy my own Valdo's box, and I will open it on stream. It will be the most pathetic, cringe, like sad thing, but I'm gonna do it.
I'm guessing you had to have been invited out and attended some event, and then everyone who did that got the box. That's what I'm guessing.
I got invited to an event. It was Thanksgiving with my parents a few days ago. That's the most recent event I got invited to.
I see. Well, I didn't get invited either.
Well, I know you didn't get invited.
Yeah.
Not that I'm tracking, but I know you didn't get invited. Did you get a box?
No, I didn't get a box.
Unfortunate, dude. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. You just listen, just do what I'm doing.
Enough. When I come out with videos criticizing stuff that nobody's criticizing, it's like the opposite of glazing. So maybe I get on the bad side.
No, I don't think you're on the bad side, dude. I think you're a pretty reasonable guy.
Yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned an interview. I did do an interview with Octavian. I felt better about it than. It was a little awkward because I was asking some really hard questions that would have been much better tailored towards lead developer. But unfortunately, I only got Octavian, who I do think is great and I respect him. But there were a lot of hard questions about like end game expectations.
You want like a big dog. You wanted like the Jonathan, the Mark, the Rorys.
Yeah, it would be nice. I'm actually afraid of interviewing somebody because I'm somebody I absolutely refuse to like suck up to somebody I'm interviewing. Like I would just immediately want to start asking like the really fucking hard questions that nobody wants to ask. And
give me an example.
Probably wouldn't get invited back. Well, I feel like one of the most compelling topics that I talked to Octavian about was a natural dividing tribalistic player base, one that is more casual and one that's bent towards more casual gameplay, one bent more toward like no lifer gameplay, and how do you reconcile that? How do you make a game that's good for both? Are you aware that there's a lot of discussions about this and that, you know, different people feeling different things? I don't have examples in front of me now, but you know, it's just a lot of it's almost like a tribalistic thing, and I don't know how they're going to develop the game like to appease both sides. It seems like an almost impossible task.
You think there's a? Do you think that's actually like some FOMO in the mind of some newish player when they get to endgame?
Wait, what do you mean FOMO in the mind?
Like you're saying that there's like this tribalistic of like some omega, basically some omega sweat, and like some, you know, like the like other people, right? Like designing gameplay for like everyone. But like, do you think most people even know there's like a split of like omega sweat versus casual?
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's some hard questions I'd ask. I'd be like, why did you allow the game to get if you were to turn away from the sort of faster, crazy, you know, like what is it back in like Legion League or something, the Cyclone Headhunter, you just see the feet, kind of the character playing. They scaled things back in Expedition League. Why did you do that? What really went on behind the scenes? I know there must have been some major decisions that were made. Chris Wilson came out and talked about some things. It was actually kind of a shit show in a lot of interviews back in that time. And they even stopped communicating with the player base back then. I would ask them, you know, are you going to open up communication up more? I can see that you're trying to reach out to non PC players with all the emphasis on console and WASD integration. Are you aware there's a significant portion of the player base that has no interest in playing the new game because it looks slow, it looks Souls-like, it looks like this? There's a lot of questions you could ask them, really hard. And obviously, I'd try to be careful to how I'd frame those questions, but I want to answer those questions. I want to pick their mind on this stuff.
Well, when the two questions you just asked like contradicts each other, right? Because first you're like, okay, you know that they're focusing on console a lot, but then the next question you would ask would be, do you know that a portion of your player base doesn't want to play the game? Like, how did you arrive at that conclusion?
So, for much of the life of PoE, it looks like they were tailoring the game to be more and more favorable towards like blasters, juicers, no lifers, just to make the game more damage, more area, more speed, more this. Then now they're taking this sort of U-turn to like make the game slower. They're making this game literally more methodical, more Souls-like. And it's got the player base in a bit of a fuss about, you know, how many buttons do you want to press? Do you want to have skills that synergize with other skills? Or would you like to just run through with a 0-button build and kill everything? Because that's apparently not going to be a thing in this game. And that's upsetting for a lot of people who want to play the new game. But it's also thrilling for a lot of people like me. I actually want a game where I got to think a little bit about what I'm doing. I got to press a few buttons. I got to like think about the build. Okay, this skill shocks and AoEs. This skill rips off the shocks and gives me power charges. This skill spends the power charges and destroys everything on the screen. I think that's badass, and that's kind of like what the Monk is set up to do, apparently. But that's not appealing for a lot of people. People have been playing PoE for like 10 years.
So, but like
they're just checking out.
What I mean is, like, if you're in an interview and you ask Jonathan that, right? And then he answers back with a follow-up saying, okay, so you say that people are turned off to PoE 2. I would say, just can you give me an example of that? Like, can you give me some kind of news aggregation site? Can you give me some highlight, like top level streamers, YouTubers, right? Like he would ask, you would have to ask you that, because like, what does that mean, right? And then like, what would you say that? Would you say I got a vibe? I heard it on Twitter from like a couple.
Yeah,
like
I mean, obviously,
I would have to ask you where you got that information. Like because I don't think that's true. Like you might hear someone be like, man, it doesn't look like PoE 1. But I don't think anyone would say like you're gonna, either you're gonna lose some player base,
that's a good
or
point. I mean, you could probably research some stuff on Reddit, and I'm obviously biased in our community that there's a lot of that, hiring, juicing stuff in our community. I've heard it time and time again, and and perhaps I'm in a bit of an echo chamber there. And sure, in the grand scheme of things, talk about the entire player base, including literally everyone, even people who would play the game for like, 1 hour a week or something. I think would be a pretty small segment of that player base. But vocal minority still got a lot of power, So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're gonna like steel me on the other side, right? It would be, well, I'm Snoobae. I make content I like to blast. If they make concessions to console, and we know that like based on the sales and stuff and how PoE 2 is going, there's going to be so many more people playing my game. That's more people for me to produce content to. There's more people that are buying into the game and supporting the game with supporter packs. That means more content for me. So yeah, I might have to take a little backseat to like how I want to play for now, but overall the game will be better. Because like I heard the same shit when 3.14, 3.15 happened, and we look into the future, and all of that stuff was necessary, and all of it was good, and the game's better now than it ever was, right? So like I would have to say like, yeah, it's probably a good thing that they're focusing on getting more players, even if it's at a cost of like, yeah, we're not going to be like PoE 1 blasting, isn't it? Like it's ultimately better for you. Like you're going to have more fun because
I swear to God, if you just polled your community right now, what was the best league? Like probably at least 10% of them would say Harvest League, and a bunch of them would say, Ritual League, whatever. Right before the turning point of this, slowing down of the game, which is ironically when I started playing the game. So I don't personally have experience with this sudden turnaround, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, but there's still gonna be PoE 1, right? Like PoE 2, you have nothing to compare it to. It's a new game. It's like you don't have to like quit PoE 1 to play PoE 2.
You're kidding me? People were comparing it to PoE 1 all day long.
No, I'm saying like you don't have to quit PoE 1 to play PoE 2. Like it's not the same game, right? It's a new product, and you don't have a comparison. I'm saying you don't have a comparison of PoE 2 in terms of a league or some like 10 years.
Here, let me ask you this.
Sure.
How long do you think PoE 1 will exist?
If I'm being honest with you, I think if Jonathan right now is saying that they are going to support PoE 1, I would like it to be at least like 2 leagues a year. That'd be nice. But who knows, right? Like I'm pretty excited about PoE 2. The content's coming out. If they do release all of it within the year, and then they follow the same, like they've learned so many lessons from PoE 1. PoE 2 will just be a better game. So it's not like a terrible thing if they stop supporting PoE 1 within like the next few years, is it?
I agree, but that's because I don't have this insane attachment to PoE 1 as like the forever game. I will never play another game. I've played it for 13 years straight. I don't know. I just feel like there are several people who fit in that camp, and they're bummed right now. They're not in a good place.
So they're bummed because there's like so much focus on PoE 2 that's likely that PoE 1 will either have like super long leagues or none at all, or lower quality leagues. If you ask those people, what do you think is going to happen in the next like few years? Do you think PoE 2 is going to like kind of like even if you don't like PoE 2 on launch, do you think PoE 2 is going to be the same game in a few years? Like I think PoE 2 is going to be better than PoE 1 in pretty much every way once it's actually released and once they're like releasing content for it.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I asked you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. We'll see, right?
I think it's probably right. Yeah.
Well, I could be right. I mean, dude, look, I'll play both games, right? Like I'm whether PoE 1 dies or PoE 2 dies or not, or they're both popping off or one of them popping off. Like I like this kind of game, and I think it's gonna be totally fine.
Yeah. No, I agree. I want PoE 2 to go really well. I'm actually not personally all that interested in playing PoE 1 after PoE 2. I think for me, I really just like sticking with one game. I don't know. Some people talk about like switching leagues, like you got PoE 2 league and the PoE 1 league, and they said they were going to do that. I'm not even sure I'm not interested in it. I think it might surprise some people to hear that I wouldn't even go back to PoE 1.
Well, I mean, you play the game for a long time, bro. Like I don't know if anybody plays the league as long as you. Like most people, like after 2 months, you're kind of bored, right? And that is going to happen with PoE 2. Like right now, because like the end game for some people, it's like it's already kind of like played out in sense of I played Breach. I've been playing Breach for how many years now, right? So like I don't have like this insane like discovery mode when it comes to Breach. Yeah. But as leagues come out, it will be the same as PoE 1. Like you play the leagues. I'm going Infernalist minions.
I confess I haven't looked into that build.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's not gonna be the best, but it's gonna be cozy. It's gonna be very cozy for WASD not an issue on that build when you play minions.
Well, we finally got to see some real end-game footage of characters in the live reveal, and when I saw the monk do Flicker Strike, I was just like, all right, there we go. That's moving. That character's moving a little bit. It's not so slow.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's the slowness doesn't matter if it's a new game, right? Like you don't really know. you don't really know how you're gonna take it. Because like, did you ever play Lost Ark? You play like other ARPGs that come out? Like, you're not always going for like the same like mechanical efficiency of PoE1, right? Like they're different games, right? They look the same, they're isometric, but they're completely different. So if you approach it like, hey, I'm gonna play a new game, it's gonna be fine, bro.
Yeah, and one reason I actually am in higher spirits for a new game is because I played Last Epoch blind actually at the launch, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Last
that
Epoch's
game.
Paw. You like the crafting? I think the crafting is the strongest thing in Last Epoch.
I think the crafting is you could argue the crafting is the strongest thing, but I actually enjoyed the combat pacing. I realized that I remembered how much I enjoyed Diablo 3's combat pacing and style at the time, and how like revolutionary it was at the time. And kind of forgotten about that playing PoE1, where it just gets like garbled into like one button builds and stuff. And I one time I heard somebody say that PoE is like a 10 out of 10 game, except for combat. It's actually about a 5 out of 10 game in terms of combat pacing, like combat itself. And I actually agree with that wholeheartedly. And I hope that PoE2 cranks that up, basically.
So when you hear people say combat pacing is like off, which range are they talking about? Are they talking about someone, the average player at maps, or are they talking about like watching you or like some Bo Andy like Fub gunplay?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a bit of all of it. It's just
well,
like
it can't be all of it, right? Because you're saying that you've heard people say that the pace, like you can't say all because it's completely different, right? So like, which one would it be?
Everybody has a different threshold of how much they want to pay attention to like reach the flow state and play the game, for hours on end, like you say. So like, for example, in Last Epoch, I had like 4 buttons to press. I had like a disengage plus a movement skill, and then I had like another skill, and there was a lot going on. It's like other skills proccing other skills, but I actively had like 3 or 4 buttons to press at certain times depending on what was going on. And I felt fulfilling to do that and to do it right, and like to get out of trouble with the disengage, and like do damage when I need to use the cooldown ability when I needed to. Whereas like in PoE1, we go to great lengths to construct a character, so it just automates everything, and we're basically just running around and just click kill everything. I mean, that can be exciting, to a certain extent for a while, because it's a lot of dopamine flowing in. You see it's just easy, but after a while it gets kind of boring, kind of dry.
That's what you think the end game is, right? But what if I want to run lab? What if I want to do blooded maps? I want to AFK and not click kill everything, right? What if I want to do trade? I want to trade all day. I want to do settlers of I want to do simulacrum. Like, there's so many things that aren't just like run around and blow up the screen, right? That's how we play. But like it's like I feel like your categorization of PoE1 is still a little bit narrow. That's how I feel, because like
extending.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just like you know yourself too well, right? And you're using that to apply that to like too much of PoE adjacent stuff. That's what I think is happening, right? Because you just right. know exactly you know exactly what you want to do, like now and in the future, and how you want to play. And I think you're applying that too much to like the general player base.
All right. Well, let me ask you: do you ever have a feeling like? Are you like most people where in the game it gives you parameters and you want to max them out if you can, like speed especially? You want to move as fast as the game will let you. Do you have that sense? Like, is that what you feel like when you're playing?
I think that's secondary to like it's not like a goal in itself. It's like if I find myself having fun from that, then I will focus on that. But like the fun comes first, right? Like the enjoyment comes first. It's not like something it's not like a cart before the horse kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So I guess the confusing thing to me is, not everybody feels that way necessarily, but I always wanted to go as fast as the game will let me. And one reason why I like Last Epoch combat more than PoE is I can actually tell what the hell is going on in that game. I can actually like see what the monsters are doing and react in real time, because the game isn't allowing me to just fly across the screen. And it's more enjoyable because of that. But I'm not going to sit here and play PoE1 and settle for running slower just because, and make that conscious decision to nerf myself. I want to go as fast as the game will let me go, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like a competition. It's competition with yourself. You're trying to min-max character. You're comparing to what other people are doing. Everybody's looking at builds, PoE and PoB and stuff. So, I mean, it's a lot of incentive structures to like max out what you can do. And if the game just takes it too far and lets you go crazy, it loses its appeal. It just becomes like a swipe right simulator, and you're not really even playing a game anymore.
Yeah, well, let's say that PoE 2 they add if they just like take everything from PoE 1, like fluff it up a little, put it in PoE 2, that's not how the end game is, right? There's like so many games within a game. So we'll see, I guess. You're just too much of a blaster, Snoobae. That's what it is, you know. You got that. You're like in your goon cave.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
just like so much explicit content.
Are you planning? I gotta ask you. Are you planning to come out with any awesome currency earning strats?
I don't really care about that anymore, dude. That like I said, this stuff is also like I'll do something if it's fun. Like if I am rewarded and I'm like I really enjoy this thing, and then the secondary stuff I can like make content on. Sure, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder who you're following on your Twitch or your
yeah
on your Twitch. You following any people? You keeping track of what's going on?
What do you mean? Like I follow like everyone. Yeah, sure. You mean in PoE?
I'm just messing with it. Yeah, I'm just messing with it. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because I really think like when you say like you just want to go as fast as possible, like what does that even mean? Like your kid just instantly the pixels are shifting all the time. Like that's like a symptom of something else you enjoy, right? Like the efficiency and how almost every mechanic in PoE 1 for like the what you call like the default end game does reward that, right? But you don't just enjoy like pixels flying across the screen that fast, you know? Do you?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a point. I'm saying I would prefer to have more methodical, I guess, gameplay. Actually, see the effects. Basically, the way PoE 1 is at the very end game is you run through the screen, you just clear the whole screen, and then the biggest threat is after death ground effects like delirium, searing runes, cirrus patches, elder circles, shaper beams, that kind of stuff. And I feel like the game is incentivizing me to play it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's saying, if you take all the tools we give you in this massive toolkit and you reach the logical conclusion, this is the game for you. And it's just not quite as fun as if it was more. And that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to in PoE 2. That's why I'm actually like really excited for the game, because I don't think it's going to be that, at least not in the beginning.
Well, so like, what's your hype level? Your hype level is probably what, 6?
Hype level?
Yeah, what's your hype level?
Oh no, it's more like it's more like an 8.
Oh, hell yeah,
like an 8. I'm chill, so it's misleading.
Are you a chill guy? You think you're a chill guy?
Criminally so.
Really? I don't think. Are you really a chill guy?
I got a couple highlight videos on YouTube that would say otherwise, but pretty much, yeah. If you watch 99.9% of my content, it's pretty chill.
I feel like you're kind of sweaty. You're kind of a sweaty guy. You're a sweaty guy trying to LARP as a chill guy.
Sweat, then.
You know? I mean, you gotta make sure you drink some water, dude. All right? You're getting dehydrated.
So what are you doing today? You just like calling everybody out and
no, I will. Well, I am doing that. But initially, I was gonna review the full Extra Life video, and I thought I thought the drama was gonna be way bigger. I thought it was gonna be like more react directly from Extra Life content, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That stuff didn't really interest me. I didn't care.
That's not a big deal. I mean, I didn't care until I woke up. Yeah.
I felt somewhat morally obligated to cover it and make it into something as a content creator, but personally, didn't really care.
Like when you look at content creation for PoE 2, are you how are you looking on the business side of things? Are you gonna try to pop off
the business side of things?
Yeah, like the competitive nature of like there are a lot of content creators in PoE 2. A lot of people joining PoE 2 to create content.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? You still gonna do business as usual?
We got more fish in the pond, and our pond turned into a lake.
Sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Well, sure. I mean, what's your plans with that?
I've been having a great time just doing a little bit on the build creation side, and then I'm mostly known for currency earning stuff. I guess Magic Find is back too, so there's that.
Magic Find's gonna be real nice, man. That's gonna be. I'm excited, man. I mean, I think I think for you, right? Like I do watch your stream sometimes, and I do watch your videos sometimes when you do like this big like marathon session, because I just want to know like, okay, what's like the data here, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like you're kind of a cocky guy. You're like a secret cocky guy. I think you got some stuff planned. I feel like you have some good content planned. Okay. That's my vibe. I think you got something in the chamber.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything too crazy.
No?
I'm not planning to come out with a build guide tomorrow to really piss off everybody. No. Is that what you mean?
No, I don't even big. Just like you got like, I feel like you got like I feel like you know what you're like. You have a plan for like a content release schedule, because I feel like you're the kind of guy that's like, I do know better than these people on this kind of thing. So like, how do I get there first? You know, how do I do that first? But I mean, maybe I could be wrong. That's just the vibe I get from you, right? Like we don't talk that much or anything, so I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but that's just
I'm
just
gonna
the
make a
reading
video. So I think a really helpful video to the community would be just like some under 10-minute video that goes over the major systematic changes from PoE 1 to PoE 2. I think even people who want to go in blind would want to know that. Like all the, not really talking about the PoE 2 new stuff, but just changes. Like, I mean, the fact that there's a couple of crafting orbs that disappeared, and chaos orbs do a little different now, and like elemental ailments work differently now. Just a few things that would throw a lot of the veterans for a loop if they go into the game without knowing that. I think a lot of people would appreciate.
Do you mean
that.
like if like I think that Mind Over Matter is like OP with like leech, instant leech and stuff, but then I forget about like ailments and like I forget about like stun threshold and stuff like that? Or do you mean something else? Or do you mean like not?
Hey, let me just pull it up real quick. Here's a couple, for example. Critical strike damage now affects ignite damage and poison, like ailments and stuff that didn't used to be that way. That's actually freaking huge. So you want to actually scale critical damage for doing ignite. And if you don't know that, and you play for like, I don't even know, like a week or something, and you find out after the fact, you'd be kind of mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heavy plus light stun, spell suppression removed, evasion, like the whole spell versus attack block thing is changed.
Yeah, I mean,
the skills now gone. You know, a lot of simple stuff.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, you're a streamer, like you know how it is, right? If I say a word wrong, or if I say like a term wrong, even though I meant like people know I meant, like people are gonna tell you. They'll be like, hey, the block doesn't work that way anymore. Hey, there's no attacks and spells anymore. There's just hits. Hey, there's like these ailments are like this. Like people just tell you. You're a streamer. You're fine, right? You will learn so fast.
It's the real streamer privilege.
It is right. You just like know something, and then like you get it from some people tell you bad information, but for the most part, there's like these little things that people know, and they just give you that info, and boom, now that's your info.
You're right, because I mean, how many people are in here? 23 heads are better than one. 2,300 heads, right?
True. They're gonna know. Like if I say like man, like dude, I gotta aim my block or something, someone will instantly be like, well, block still works, right? Like the percentage block still works. Like these little things that people tell you are actually amazing. It's one of the best. It's one of the most cute things, right? As long as it's not too like the worst though is when you get backseated and then someone's wrong, and then like it's like you know what I mean. Like someone's wrong.
Then you get to practice
like,
telling them that they're wrong and why they're wrong and how they're wrong for like the next 20 minutes, 10 times in a row.
Something like that, dude. Are you still playing PoE? Is it Kalgur?
No, I'm not.
I feel like you're the last. You're like the last person to ever quit a league, man. I don't know how you do it.
When I did the /kills, it said unknown number or whatever. I'd never seen that before. I think that's like 16 million kills or something.
You went above like the whatever the limit was, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I killed over 20 million monsters this league.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing strats. It wasn't back to basics like last league. There's actually a lot of monsters in the map.
See, chat, they didn't give the Snoobae guy a mystery box or a Valdo's box. This guy is popping off, just carrying the third month of the leagues. Sheesh. I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm sure they're gonna work with you a lot in the future, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
My advice to you, okay, is that when you have some criticism, you can't just say like I feel or it seems or like everyone or like you need to have very concrete examples for those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like a lot of things you said earlier, I was like, what's an example of that? Or like what, like who says that? You know, like so like in your future interviews, you gotta be ready.
My
my
mistake was thinking that we were just having a friendly chat, and I didn't realize.
I mean, we are.
Interviewed.
No. I mean, it's like it is a friendly. I'm just like, this is, we're just talking, right? Like,
of course, yeah.
So, anything else we want to talk about? Any other like juicy info or exciting announcements? You can promote whatever you want, bro.
Promote?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want to say, man. Do you have like you want to shout your build? You want to, tell people to watch it. Where can people watch you?
Shaila Monk gang.
Ooh,
we got any Shaila Monk gangs in here? I'll tell you one system I'm really excited for is the weapon swap. I freaking love it.
I'm unsure about that. I'm unsure about that.
I mean, some of you might know I was already making weapon swap videos when it wasn't even a thing. It's not even a thing in PoE 1, but I still did it. They loved it.
Yeah, maybe there's some nice interactions with that, right? Oh shit, look at this guy.
For gifting
the money, 10 subs. Holy shit. Look at that. Snoobae is a cash cow. I gotta get him on more often. Yo, 0x coffee. Yeah. Thanks, bro. 10 gifties. Wow.
I was sad when they said the weapon swap and 10 extra passive points won't accept keystones, because I was thinking, oh my god.
Oh, you can't put them into the key. Okay.
Yeah, because imagine you could weapon swap double two-handed with the keystone setup with that, only on that build. That'd be absolutely insane.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you, man. Well.
All right, we'll get out of here and let you talk to Milky or something. I think he's
sure.
Can't believe I'm going to be followed by Milky. Oh man.
Oh shit. Yeah, it was good talking.
Do me a favor and ask him if he's going to start streaming again.
I don't know if I want to bring Milky on. He's kind of a crazy dude, man.
I haven't rated him in a while.
You want some of that? You want some of that Milky cloud, huh? I can hook you up if you're single and ready to mingle, dude. I know Milky pretty well.
All right, we'll make it happen.
All right, man. Look, dude, thanks for talking to me. Appreciate it.
Out.
All right, peace.
Absolutely, thank you.
That's Snoobae. If you guys know, Snoobae's he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He is a talented PoE player, PoE 1 player, soon to be PoE 2 player. That was a good talk. I liked yeah. What do you guys think? He's a good guy.